I'm Gloria Strode and welcome to Straightforward. Today we have some of our best community advocates, Diane and Marianne. Welcome.
Hi.
You ladies work so hard, and I have to say thank you for the parents. I don't have anyone immediately in my family that, have autism, but I do have friends that have grandchildren with autism, and I grew up with some people that had autism. But I was so excited, I was sharing with you before we sat down. On Sunday, I saw on 60 Minutes where a lot of the major corporations hire people with autism. And then I realized how ignorant, not in a negative way, but how uninformed we are about autism. So I wanted you all to just share with our audience. You have great things going on in the community, big event coming up, but just share with us a little bit more so we can be more informed about autism.
Well, I mean, we have this big event coming up, our second Hope for Autism Gala, and we're getting really excited. And one of the main reasons for starting to have the gala is we wanted to be able to kind of start educating the community how many people there are in the Chattahoochee Valley that are affected by autism, and it's estimated there's about 3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
And this is your second annual event.
Yes.
And it's the Autism Gala.
Yes.
And when is it going to be?
It's next Friday, the 14th, September the 14th, and this raises money to support these local families because there isn't a lot of money for autism, and so it's always a struggle for us to raise enough to really support them. Of course, we'd like to do more, and we plan on, expanding in the future. But the bottom line is it takes money. But this is a fun event.
Okay.
There's a silent auction.
A silent auction.
Silent
So those are
auction.
all of those fabulous gifts that you've been posting on social media.
Yes.
And so the various business people throughout the communities and other companies and corporations have donated things that you're going to auction silently that night.
Yes.
Correct.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And so that's a part of the fundraising.
Yes,
So you're going to educate us, but we want to raise a little money so you all can continue to help families, 3,000 roughly, in this community without always having to use your husband's money.
Yes. Yes.
We want to be on the good. We want to be on the good list with them.
And almost everything we do is free because these families don't have, very much, and what they do have often has to go to pay for the therapy. The co-pays and that sort of thing, if they're fortunate enough to have insurance that covers it.
And not all insurance plans cover it.
No, it's better than it used to be. And as of January next year, the state of Georgia, they're going to mandate the insurance companies to cover. However, if the employer is self-funding, they don't have to do it.
Really?
So that's kind of something that's going to have to be worked out too.
And so that we're still kind of leaving people out that really need the support for their families. I don't think people understand that spectrum is so broad.
Oh, yeah.
I was excited when I found out people with autism work for Microsoft.
Yeah.
They work for SAP. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Because I think what we might have seen in the media, which is, usually short clips, they're showing us the Rain Man.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have different levels of functioning.
Yes.
Yes.
And also through their life, they tend to make quite a lot of changes too. So what they're like as a young child is not what they're going to be like as an adult.
Really?
So with extra help and therapy, they can be, truly functioning members of society. My son is 30 now, and he has what they used to call Asperger's. He still calls it Asperger's because he doesn't care if the experts say it exists or not. But he goes to college and he has his own business.
Really?
So he's, out there doing it.
So he's enrolled in public college?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he has his own business?
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't like that when you first started out with him as a young boy? Right.
It took many years to even get a diagnosis back then because actually when he was born, the numbers were like, I think it was 1 in 10,000 people were on the spectrum, and now it's just changed. The CDC came out with new numbers and it's 1 in 59.
So that's the Center for Disease Control, and now they're saying it's 1 in 59 Americans or children?
Children.
Children.
So
really?
they don't even include
the adults.
Yes.
So 1 in 59 of children.
Yes.
And that's why you have become such a rock star. I mean, really,
Yay for
you
Marianne.
are a rock star, because through social media and other networking, people found that you are a mother and you have a child that has autism.
Correct.
And because you were such a fierce advocate for your kid, you've now helped other family members, parents, to help advocate for their children.
Yes, ma'am, I do. I go to the schools, and so when your child has a disability and they have one of 13 qualifying conditions, autism being one of them, they can qualify for an individualized education plan.
That's the IEP.
That's an IEP,
okay.
yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
And so I go in and help the families get a really good plan in place, get really good services in place so that they can grow to meet their fullest potential. That doesn't happen without significant help early on.
Right,
Yes.
and for someone that understands.
Yes.
And I always would get into these discussions with people about, well, parents don't care. I don't think that's the case. I think people sometimes just don't know what to do,
Yeah,
or they
they don't
feel
understand.
overwhelmed. They don't
Yeah.
know where to start. So if they can reach out to a Diane or a Marianne who's walked the walk, then you can help them navigate the waters.
Exactly, and it's very complex. So you're looking at disability law, you're looking at education law, you're looking at the medical side of it, because that's a whole nother aspect. It's very hard, and something like 80% of parents, mothers of children with autism are single mothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is very overwhelming.
And
People
they're
that don't
dealing with
understand.
bread and butter issues.
Yes.
Right, and it's not that they don't care about their child, but they're trying to deal with food, clothing, and shelter.
Right.
Well, and sometimes the very fact that their child is getting services they think is enough. They
Right.
don't understand that it might not be the best services,
Right.
or it's not going to really help them in the way that they need. I think that's common.
Yeah, you think if the government has an entity set up to educate your child, they're going to do that
Willingly.
fully, completely.
Right.
That's what their purpose is.
Right.
But unfortunately, the administrators and the teachers don't know much better a lot of times.
And so what they think they're doing, it's not quite
Yes.
enough.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do is take our first break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you: Stark Avenue, Columbus; Bradley Park Drive, Columbus; Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange; West Washington Street, Eufaula; and Spring Street in Warm Springs. Vanessa Jackson's District 3 Successful Scholars Program, supporting students in achieving academic excellence, outstanding citizenship, positive social and cultural growth, believing in success for kids. Dr. Sheikha Shaw Family Medicine, connecting your health to your future. Dr. Shaw prides herself in providing compassionate health care and establishing long-lasting relationships. Conveniently located at 2827 Warm Springs Road, Suite 3B. Call her today at 706-324-4177.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Adopting from your shelter makes sense. You get a great friend checked by our vet. They're fixed, all shots, microchipped, all ready to make you and your family's life better. 4900 Milton Road, Columbus. Paws Humane.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with 2 of the best advocates for children in this community, Diane and Marianne. You all are an awesome team. I tell you, you have the perfect balance, knowledge, patience, kindness, just all of those things. No, and that's really what it takes if you're really genuinely going to help people. You know, it can't just be flying by the seat of your pants. You can't think that you know everything, because as you know, every child is different.
That's right.
The family dynamics are different. Of course, you all both have husbands, as we were saying before we went to the break, so you have a better support system than maybe a parent that's a single parent
Right.
with multiple children,
Right.
and then one that has an exceptionality.
Right.
Right. And so, Marianne, you were saying that you actually go into the schools. You kind of started out as with a PTA involvement. That's how you worked your way in. You're smart. You're very smart. Yeah.
That's how we all start.
Yeah, it's true. What most of us do start that way. It's a desperate plea to try and get your kid help, and you think if you donate enough time, if they see your face frequently enough, if you donate enough money or items, or that your kid's going to get what they need. And it's desperate, pulling at straws, anything. And if that doesn't work, then things start to evolve over time. But I loved being a PTA mom. I still
Participate.
Yes.
And your son has had such great accomplishments.
Yes, he's doing fabulous.
So what are some of the things, because you really work hard with him, and we follow him on social media. He's kind of turning into a star all by himself. But he's really just added more activities and everything.
Yeah, he's doing great. So my son has high functioning autism. That's a term that's kind of debated highly, because it still comes with a lot of struggles, but he has high functioning autism, or Asperger's like they used to call it, and he also has profound dyslexia. So he was not able to read, and he's just now getting there. It was just 2 or 3 days ago where I snapped a picture and put it on Facebook of his first time reading independently, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So how did you realize when he was small? When did you realize? Because you know, when children have a hearing problem, you know, we kind of learn that early, because that impacts their ability to speak and that. But a lot of folks might still go undiagnosed with dyslexia.
It's very challenging. It doesn't seem to make sense because they're highly intelligent, but they just aren't getting the reading, or they're seeing a word and it's like they've never seen it before. And really it hit me like a bolt of lightning. We had been trying to figure it out for a couple years. It just did not make any sense. And he was trying to sound out the word of with his finger under the O, and he was saying the F sound. And it hit us. And of course, that was based on the old wives' tale of what dyslexia is. They don't see it backwards. But the way it manifests itself, it kind of appears that way. And that's what did it for us.
Really?
And that's what did it for us.
And so what was your response as a mother? You know, as mothers, we want to fix everything with our children. No, really we do. Even the adults, we try to fix whatever it is. So what did you think you needed to do for the parents that might not know? And sometimes people are quiet about things, but we don't need to keep hushing about everything. We need to try to make sure that we can find the resources and the support and match people properly.
So the first thing that a parent needs to do, whether it's autism or dyslexia or any other thing, you need to educate yourself on the disability. And you need to know when you don't know. You need to know to ask for help when things aren't moving in a good way. When you're not
I
making
want you
progress.
to repeat that. Just because you might be a subject matter expert in 25 degrees in a certain discipline does not necessarily mean that you have all the answers and that you know everything about everything. So you got to admit that you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
If you really want to get some support for your child.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
You have to educate yourself. You have to reach out to the people you do know. There's all types of resources. You know, the Autism Hope Center in Columbus. Miss Diane, I did not know what I was doing with autism. I was way above my head. Miss Diane.
So you were in deep water.
Yes.
But you went to someone that had been on the battlefield, so to speak, for a long time. Because your son is 30 now. And when you started out, my goodness, you were just like really in deep water, just treading pretty much by yourself.
Yeah, in fact, he was sort of more complicated in a way because he taught himself to read at 3 and was reading like non-fiction books on Pluto at 4 years old.
Really?
And so everyone was like, oh, he's just a genius, you know, and I tried to get him tested and they said, well, just put him in the gifted program. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
There's another side to this.
Yeah. And so that was the struggle because he was so good in that area. I mean, he had, I think it was 6th grade reading level in kindergarten.
Really?
So all the other issues were always pushed to the side.
Right. Because they just saw him as this brilliant kid. They were not really dealing with the other things that came with it.
In fact, I think in kindergarten, the headmaster used to bring visitors to the school, to the classroom, and have him recite his 1 through 15 times table and stuff like that, you know, which my son hated. You know, drawing that much attention to himself,
right? To just put him on stage like that.
But so they were looking at him as this sort of this genius, and it was really quite sad. But so and I mention that because the skills are just up and down with our kids. They're, you know, they might be right up here on one thing and down here on another, and that's why you know, the IQ tests that they do really aren't representative of what's really going on. You have to take into account their adaptive skills.
Okay, the adaptive skills. Right, so just because at the kindergarten, 1st grade, he was reading 6th grade level, and he could say all of his multiplication tables, there were still some other skills that he was way deficient on. And so as a mother, did people think you were crazy when you were saying, but no, it's something else wrong?
And so what I had to do in the end was this is back before the internet, I had to order books and read them.
Really?
And yeah, until I, you know, went back and I said, okay, it's either autism or it's nonverbal learning disorder. You tell me which one it is, because it's one of them. I want a diagnosis. I got to get this kid some help.
And that was before the internet, so you had to do it the old-fashioned way, which is good. It's good to read. It's good to have a book. Well, what we're going to do is go to our final break for our sponsors, and we'll come right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706-568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6477, or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front line for veterans every day.
Walmart's reason for supporting Thurgood Marshall College Fund is simple. We like to win. And we have been given a lot of exposure to some incredible talent. And we also believe that it's a part of our responsibility to the community to give back. This is a great opportunity to do both. It's been a wonderful experience for us through the years. We've appreciated our partnership. We believe in return on investment, and we have definitely had a remarkable return.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with our awesome community advocates, Diane and Marianne. You all just give me hope. And I know this is Hope for Autism Gala, but I do know from my old world when I was a social worker for 30 years, a lot of times families really need help. And they care, but they just don't know where to go.
Right.
So today I wanted to just remind people that you all are there. You are excellent mothers, wonderful subject matter experts because you have walked the walk, talked the talk, and you live it every day. Yes. Certainly want to commend both of your husbands for allowing you all to use their treasure in support of this, because as we have said, there's not a lot of grant money or resources that's floating around to help with what you're doing. So we really want people, even if they don't come to the gala, they can always write you all a check, and it's tax deductible because this is a nonprofit.
Right,
And
correct.
so we need everybody to just jump on board, because you were saying something to me, Marianne, and I said I wanted you to repeat that.
So in America, we hyper-focus on academics, but schooling is supposed to be more than that.
Yes.
It's communication, it's socialization. Both those things are pivotal in bringing you through your life. It's more than just book smarts. And,
Right.
and these kids need help in multiple areas.
Right, and that's how people get confused,
Right,
because they're so
right.
high functioning in
Right.
the academics,
And they
but then
can
they
quote this and quote that,
The memory.
but it's a social disorder, really. They have a hard time socializing with other people, and that's why we do have social groups and everything.
yeah, you have that, and
yes.
that's like once a month. And where is that? It's at
We do two.
Okay.
One is at Columbus Tech, that's for
Okay.
the older kids, 13 and up. And we partner with the Columbus Tech Gamers group.
Okay.
And so they have this fabulous room. It's full of screens and games, and the kids love it. And then we do a tween social, which is the 8 to 12-year-olds at Evangel Temple.
Okay, that's the one I saw on
Yeah.
social media
Yeah.
you posted,
Yeah.
and that's for the
8 to 12-year-olds.
8 to 12s, and they get to come and
Yeah.
have fun and interact. Is that free?
Yes.
It is.
Everything
Yes.
is free.
Yes.
That's why we need people, even if they can't attend the gala, we need them to send you money.
Yes.
You know, and it is tax deductible.
Yes,
So
it's
we
tax
can find money for all these other things that we want
Because a lot of these people wouldn't be able to come if they had to pay.
if they had to pay.
Yeah.
And you want
so
to include
we
them.
want to. And actually the team group is the one we first started with, and it's really fabulous that they've made friends within the group, and they actually see each other at other times,
Oh,
and
okay.
they have parties together and that sort of thing. And many of those kids never had a friend before in their life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how sad is that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're meeting people, and they meet each other where they are.
Yes.
And there is
And
no
nobody's
judgment.
judging. Exactly.
Right.
There's no bullying.
Yeah.
It's just friends having fun.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have those two socials every month
Yes.
for your older kids and then for your
Yeah.
younger kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're two separate locations,
Yes.
so we're not mixing everybody
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
it's free.
It's free.
Correct.
And it's free. So where are you located? How people can reach you? Tell us about this
The
gala.
best way to keep up with exactly what's going on is go to our Facebook page.
Okay.
And that is just Facebook/Autism Hope Center.
Autism Hope Center.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we post what's going on here, also useful tips and just suggestions and just anything that would be of interest to a family that has autism. And we partner with other agencies.
Okay.
So it's just not autism all the time. And so we're just very much about supporting the parents. We have a support group meeting every month for the parents.
Okay. And where do you normally hold that?
That's at the, what is it called now?
Piedmont.
Midtown
Okay,
Medical.
Right. Columbus Regional,
Yeah.
the old medical
Yeah,
center. It just
yeah,
depends on how
yeah,
old you are.
Yeah.
Right.
In-
Right.
In the conference center.
Okay. And that is free.
That's free.
So that's a
That's free,
support
yes.
meeting, and so even if people are not sure, they can come there and ask the questions.
And we have childcare. So many of these parents
Really?
couldn't come.
if you didn't have the
Yes,
child care,
yeah.
and the child care is free.
Yes.
And see, a lot of times that deter people
Yes,
from going to meetings because
exactly.
they don't have folks to watch
Right.
the kids, and so they just don't go.
Yeah.
And if they're not really sure, they can come and ask you all.
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing with my child. What do you think?
And they can always call me, and I'd be glad to, help whenever, in any way I can. A lot of what we do when people call is try and figure out where they can go to get help with the type of insurance that they have.
Right.
Because that's one of the things that's very iffy. Certain places only take a certain kind.
Oh, I know.
Or they only take so many of that kind. And so, we work to try and figure out if they have to go to Atlanta, where to go.
Oh.
And just, just so they can get the help as quickly as possible.
Right, and going to Atlanta is a lot. That
Yes.
means if you're a single
Yes.
parent working, you got to
Yes.
take off your
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
You need reliable transportation. You need money for parking. See, a lot of those
Yes.
things, people that we live sometimes so comfortably in our world, we take for granted
Right.
some things. things. And a
Right.
lot of times that's
Right.
a luxury.
Right.
You know, or it might be an impossibility for someone to take off their job, you know,
Yes.
if they're already struggling.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us again when this event, where it's going to be, how we should look when we dress up. I mean, it's going to be a great time.
It's September the 14th at Green Island Hills Country Club. It starts at 6 o'clock and it goes till 11. We're going to have cocktails, dancing, dinner, and a silent auction. And it's cocktail attire. So
Okay.
everybody has something.
Yes.
And the band is actually a group of doctors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Really?
DNR.
DNR.
DNR. Oh my
Yes,
goodness, how
do not
cool is that?
resuscitate.
Yes, do not resuscitate. And so they are helping you all out. The silent auction, you have great gifts. I've seen them on social media. People can just, if they don't want to do all of that, they can just write a check.
That's
Yes.
right.
What is the address? What's your P.O. box? How can people, if they want to give you $1 million, how
Oh,
can
please.
they find you?
It's Post Office Box 6028, Columbus, Georgia 31917.
Okay, Post Office Box 6028. 6028.
Yeah.
Columbus
917.
31917. So all of our community partners and friends can all write $1 million check. And that way we will
will
have
gladly
happy
take it.
husbands.
Yeah.
We won't be spending so much of their money, and I really have to commend them because this is a labor of love. You can see it. I know from meeting Marianne at a community meeting, that's how I met her, advocating for the children, not just her child, but all the children.
Right.
And I always tell people, is all the children are our children.
That's right.
You know,
Yes.
really they
Yes.
are.
Yes.
And so, Diane, you've been doing this a long time. I commend you for not giving up. You could do like some folks. Your child is an adult. He's in college. He has his own business. You can say, okay, I'm done. But you're still out fighting for the children that need advocacy.
And in actual fact, I think he helps a lot of the families because if you have a young child, you can't imagine what it's going to look like as an adult.
Right.
And so they see him and they see him getting in his truck and driving off.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And it gives them hope for their child.
And it gives the mothers peace in their
Yes.
heart. And that's
Yes.
a very hard thing. Well, I thank you all so much.
you.
I'm excited
Thank
about what
you.
you're doing. And of course, when I get all of this trust fund money that I don't know about, then I'm certainly going to make sure that I write
Well, we hope you get it.
write you all a check. But thank you so
you.
much for all you
Thank
do.
you. We
Thank
so
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.